Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into Newhouse Afternoon. Riley Underwood and Nicholas Whaley here with you in sunny Syracuse. Boy, is it a nice day today, Nick.
It's not just sunny, it's hot as well, which is great.
It is not hot. I don't know about hot.
Okay, you know what? I'll say it's hot because comparatively to what was 30 degrees 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So
75 now.
Amazing. I love it.
I
love it.
Beautiful.
It feels like spring finally, and also means that means crossover season is over, but we still have lax to look forward to. But also, we're winding down. We're getting ready for a bit of a sports break, and you know, at some point of the year, I feel like that's always a good thing.
Are you ready for a sports break right now?
I'm ready
Nick?
for a sports break.
Okay,
I think
you're all sportsed out. I know you were following the Masters closely.
Of course I was.
I was watching at your house. He was up and screaming up and down. I was like, I know you don't watch golf
so
any other day of the year. But on the Masters, you get riled up.
Hang on. Whoa, no. These accusations, bro.
All right.
I love the Masters. I love golf. I've been trying to get more into it. You know, the Masters is I literally was about to say the tagline, but it is an unbelievable tradition. You know, I don't think there's a sporting event like it, really. You know, like Wimbledon comes close, and I think that's the easiest comparison in tennis, but otherwise, you know, it's amazing. You know, Rory winning back-to-back. You know, here, I'll ask you the question.
All right.
So Rory McIlroy, you know who that is?
Sure,
right?
I know who that is.
So
yes.
he obviously went back-to-back, but he took the last 3 weeks off to play at Augusta pretty much as much as possible in those three weeks, while everyone else was playing at other golf tournaments.
Yeah, right.
Do you think that's an unfair advantage?
I mean, I don't think so. Are people saying it's an unfair advantage?
People are saying that Rory had an unfair advantage, and that is why.
Can the other golfers do that if they wanted to?
Only the champions.
Only the champions. Okay.
So, but I'm of the opinion that he earned that privilege.
So he earned that advantage.
Because playing at Augusta, it's not like every other golf course, obviously. You have to be a member. There's only like 300 members, and it costs, I think the buy-in fee to be a member is from anywhere from $40,000 to $200,000, and it's not like you can just apply. You got to be a current member has to either recommend you, or you have to win the Masters. Basically, those are like the two easiest ways to actually get in. And sometimes you don't even get to play. Like you have to have a specific. You have to play with a member to actually play the golf course itself.
So you're saying that he earned it, and that it's okay that everyone else had to. Well, they didn't have to play in the tournaments, but they did play in the tournaments.
Right.
This is an interesting dilemma here.
See, my other thing is, this is a guy. Of course, golf is a very affluent sport. These guys make a lot of money. So what McIlroy did was he was at his home in Jupiter, Florida, would take his daughter to school, then hop on a private jet, fly to Augusta, 800 miles. Play a round of golf, get back on the PJ, and on the way home to pick up his daughter later in the day. I mean, that's crazy.
That's the life, man. That sounds like the life right there.
It's like I feel like he earned it. He earned it. Like he has every right to do that.
Well, we have a lot of work to do on our golf games if we need to get to that point.
Yeah, we're definitely slacking a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a little bit unrealistic goal, but
maybe we should talk Syracuse basketball.
All right, let's do it.
A sport that you're definitely better at.
Better than golf, that's for sure. Syracuse has just today received a commitment from an international big man, which is a hole not that Syracuse fans have wanted to fill, not necessarily internationally, but that's where they went, and he's an overseas pro playing in the Adriatic League that is in Europe. His name is, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Abdramain Sibi. But this guy is a 7-footer. He has a crazy 7'6" wingspan, leads the league in blocks. He comes in as a 19-year-old freshman, so he will be more experienced than the average freshman that comes from America, and seems like Jerry McNamara and his staff are excited about picking up Sibi.
Yeah, second player from Europe to commit. So, it looks interesting. As you mentioned, like the center position in particular was one that really needed filling when we're seeing this roster really start to come together. Needed a 7-footer, needed someone who has that ability to make those stops inside, get those blocks, and be just a really good defensive outlet, because the center position for so long for Syracuse men's basketball has been the problem. Since Jesse Edwards transferred for his 5th year to West Virginia, ever since then Syracuse has been dying for a center.
A big center. Like William Kyle.
Not a true center.
But he was forced to play that position.
Forced to play that position. Had to made up for it with his physicality, but his wingspan wasn't quite big enough, and he eventually was dominated by those bigger ACC guards. So having a 7-footer come in that is, I would say, quite a raw talent. 19 years of age. Hopefully he can be somebody that really grows into the position, also grows physically. He'll be a little bit tall and lanky to start with, like most centers coming over from Europe, and I think we'll see what he can do. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does offensively as well. I think offensively this team is starting to look decent, decently strong anyway. Maybe not as I guess high profile recruits than maybe we were sort of expecting, but I think all the transfers that have happened were expected, if that makes sense. Like the guys from Siena, the 4-star guard yesterday, Moosh, is that how you say it?
Ryan Mesh.
Mesh.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that is so bad.
4-star local guy.
Yeah,
comes in with high expectations.
Sorry. I just had a brain fart. How do you say Mesh's name? Oh my goodness, that's so poor for me. I apologize, everybody. But yeah, I think this team is starting to look good. Especially I think the backcourt looks really good at the moment.
But I want to recall something you said last week in the show. You said if we had Kyan Anthony and Sadiq White returning, you said you wanted to pair a 7-foot big man next to them. So they bring over Sibi from Mali, who's now.
G-Mac was listening.
You're right. He was listening. He said, "Wow, that's a good idea, Nick. That's a good idea."
Nick Whaley knows what we need. Obviously not.
So this guy comes over. He's playing professionally in Serbia right now. Played in various pro leagues across Europe. Is this a guy that is the answer for that center position?
I think at least in the short term, yes. I think we're going to see at least another center come in. I don't think Sibi will be the starter from day one. I think there's still more movement to come. In the portal especially, but he is somebody that I think defensively to be part of that rotation. I think it's important to have a center that you bring in, especially down the stretch of a game, to close out a game. Don't let anyone inside. On that game plan front, but I think you need someone offensive. You need someone that can really crash the glass, get those offensive rebounds, and have good putbacks on those second chance points. That will be very important as well in this system, because it seems like the Syracuse team is going to be shooting for fun. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a very high percentage shooting team. That means there's going to be a lot more shots that are going to be up in the air, available for those offensive rebounds, and second chance points. I think will be a huge key in the context of the way GMAC will want to play.
We talked about earlier Ryan Mesh, guy out of Chittenango who's a smaller guard, listed at 6 foot 170, but he can play the point. He's a shooter, and he's the 4-star prospect. He was originally committed to GMAC at Siena, which was the highest recruit ever committed to Siena, but now, as expected, it was expected for a little bit maybe to commit a little bit sooner, but eventually it gets where people thought it would be. Mesh is going to Syracuse, and that's a 4-star prospect. That's a good get for the Orange.
Yeah, and I think there's a rumors also today that Owen Freeman from Creighton as well, that he should be coming in. He's not as tall as 6'10", but I think could provide a little bit more of a a little bit more offensive style, I would say. He's efficient from the field anyway. Didn't quite get the playing time that he wanted, I think.
Well, that would be another big man.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I saw that rumor just now. I think there's going to be still a lot more movement. I think, but once again, I don't think these are headline moves. I guess there's no one I think that's going to really stand out in terms of the additions that are coming in. I think GMAC is working with what he's got at the moment because it's all happening so quickly. He's only been a head coach for what? He's been a head coach for less than a month. So he's had to go to work really, really quickly. I think it'll be interesting to see how many more players he can get in. I don't think we really know how much money he has available. There's been so much movement around the Syracuse upper echelons, really. Obviously, new AD, chancellor, all that stuff. How much money is there available to Syracuse at the moment? I think this year it will be significantly less than what Syracuse will spend next year.
Yes,
100%. Because I think we're going to maybe have another year like we did, not this last season, but the season prior. Syracuse only spends just a fraction of what they really think that they could do, and then they're going to go all in for 2027-28.
And it seems like Jerry McNamara. I mean, we talked about some of the other guys coming in internationally from overseas, but the guys coming in from the transfer portal, at least two of them, are really high-scoring guards. We've talked about Gavin Doty these past few weeks, 18 point per game score from Siena, but he also brings in Aiden Tobiasen from Temple, 6'5", 195 guard who plays primarily shooting guard, can slide to the 1 or 3 slots. But he's a guy that averaged 15 points per game last year for Temple, playing in the American. That's not the worst basketball
Definitely
conference.
Not.
So that's a really exciting get for Syracuse, and he's really just a pure scorer.
Absolutely, and I think the American, like you hit the nail on the head there. I mean that was a really good conference last year, and then they've always just lingered around that, not quite good enough to be a power team, but I think they're better. They're probably the best mid-major conference. Maybe A10 will have something to say about that.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think the American has it.
Okay, so but either way, I think it'll be a really good game. 15 points per game is nothing to scratch at, especially in Division 1. So it'll be a good play. But like I said before, I think there's 5 guards already just on the roster. I mean, and all of them I think would like to think that they're starting. So that's where you got Kyle Anthony, Doty in there, you have
Aiden Tobiasen, you have Garwi Duel from Murray State, and then Ryan Mesh, the freshman. So yes, there's a big log jam at the guard position. But none of them, like you were saying, maybe are you wanting to see a power conference transfer? I mean, all these guys are kind of coming from mid-major international. Is that have an impact to you as how you look at this recruiting class?
I think that definitely, in terms of power transfers, I think a forward or center will be very important, because you need to see you can have a bunch of maybe more inexperienced guards, but you need to have someone that understands what it takes to win and the physicality of these power programs and power conferences, because it's rapidly evolving and changing so much. And if anything, the power conferences are getting better and better and better every year, exponentially, compared to even years past. So because especially when you have 24 and 25-year-olds playing college basketball, that's the result of it. We're getting a much higher intensity, higher quality basketball, I think, as well. But at the same time, it's still college. You got to have guys that understand that, and no one's going to be perfect. It's not like the NBA where every three-pointer is here. It's not like every layup is perfect every time. There's going to be mistakes, and it's going to be about the experienced guys that make the mistakes the least. That will definitely help Syracuse in the long run.
And with Sibby, I mean, this is kind of identical and a mirror of sorts for the women's basketball side. We saw Uche Izoje come over from overseas as a 21-year-old freshman and just sweep the ACC Freshman Awards, which is to be expected from someone that's 21 years old playing as a first-year college student. So that's kind of a similar thing. We see Sibby, he has pro ball experience, professional experience over in Europe. So definitely an interesting get for Syracuse. Also, a couple people that former Orange fans, current Orange fans know about former players. Peter Majstorovic has committed to Pepperdine. He was at Long Beach, who had an impressive season at Long Beach, 14 points per game, and he was previously at Siena before that. Maybe some people thinking that he'd return to Syracuse for GMAC. No, he's going to Pepperdine. Nate George transferring over to Pittsburgh. Donnie Freeman right now seems like maybe in a competition between Kentucky and Connecticut, a bidding war. He's on a visit in Lexington, Kentucky today. Reports kind of swirling around $1.6 million according to On3. That's his NIL value. That's a lot of money for a guy that played 23 games last year.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That is a lot, man. Wow. I wish we were good at sports, man. But no, it's crazy. It's a lot of money. I'm honestly surprised. Maybe I'm not surprised about him going to these big time programs, but I'm surprised that it's such a high number, especially that we thought Donnie might even declare. Like we were really, especially like in the first 2 months of the year, we were like, oh yeah, Donnie was probably going to be a second round pick, but obviously that's not the case. And he's someone that definitely will be cash heavy eventually after the transfer portal closes. UConn I think would be really interesting. It would be a really interesting landing spot for him. I think he'd thrive in the Big East as well. Kentucky is a program that obviously spent an enormous amount last year and really got nowhere, especially considering how the NCAA tournament ended up. They just weren't good enough, considering they spent $20 million on a roster. So I think that'll be interesting to see. It'll be an interesting dynamic over there. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what really happens next. Also, another former Syracuse player, Chance Westry, he'll be in the Big East. Just signed for Xavier. So it's a huge. The merry-go-round continues. More than half of all of NCAA men's basketball players are in the transfer portal. So it's no surprises there. It's just constant movement all the time. It's weird. It's hard to keep up.
I talked about Garwi Duel earlier. I mistakenly said he was coming over from Murray State. He's coming over from McNeese State, so apologies for that. He averaged about just over 8 points a game for them. A combo guard, 6'5", 175. Also a player that Orange fans are familiar with, Tyler Betsy, the lights-out shooter. He's committed to Brigham Young, who has that ever-known massive NIL budget. So he'll be shooting out in Provo, and those are the former Orange committed right now to the other schools. It's so interesting to see. You could once you have it written down, you can see on paper what GMAC is trying to do. 5 guards, Duel, Tobias, and Doty, Kai and Anthony. And then you have Sadiq White and then CB as well. So you got two actual bodies and then the rest are guards. So it's going to be a very fast-paced Syracuse team. This will be a higher scoring team. I think Syracuse fans can expect.
I think it'll be fun. Defense will be very interesting. I think I'll say that much. Maybe Mamutovic can be a bit of a stretch 3. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think he's a bit on the taller side, so we'll have to see.
McNamara continuing to build on his coaching staff. Also a familiar face for Syracuse fans. Ryan Blackwell will have a new role at Syracuse, the Director of Player Engagement, which is sort of an assistant coach. That's a big title. That's a new title that hasn't existed at Syracuse before. In his new position, he'll work with current and former Syracuse players, kind of the connector between the current players and the school's alumni and former players. Part of his job description is developing donor engagement strategy, including network opportunities and mentorship programs. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe more of an administrative role, but
NIL focus maybe, just along those lines. Just
former starter for Syracuse hoops. So kind of seems like more and more fundraising opportunities, and Blackwell's an interesting
Brian Blair
addition.
Definitely has his fingertips on that. Like that's his front yard. Like he knows he only knows how to do NIL. So I think that's definitely on his part. So I think things are looking good. Things are looking good for Syracuse hoops.
All right. Well, let's talk about maybe a draft that just happened last night. A lot of lacrosse players from Syracuse hearing their names called. We'll catch you up to date after this break on Newhouse Afternoon.
Thank you. Jeez. Oh, there's some video actually. Okay. Ooh. You can yam it at least.
Mm.
I mean, I want to give it a pinch of salt. That kid looked like he was about 12. I don't want to. Like, this is definitely men amongst boys kind of situation. Wow. Oof. Gee, I think that was a foul.
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's the best competition.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I like they have like advertising boards. That's kind of cool.
You like that?
Well, no, like that shows that they're for real.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I'm amazed the NBA hasn't done that yet. By the way.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
All around the court. Well, you gotta sell those primetime seats too.
Yeah.
No one's sitting courtside at those games in Serbia.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Because
Well,
that's
they
where the
got
seats would
some.
usually be.
They have some. Well, wait, that's probably press. Yeah, like they got some over here. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine there's a lot.
Yeah,
of
there's a
people.
curtain. That looks
Oh
like
wow, that's
they're just
that's
playing
crazy.
at the rack.
That's
LA Fitness.
That's crazy, actually. Yeah. Well, I'm in the bad chair.
Wow. Well, that's
Oh,
what
crying
you
out
get. You can't choose your chair. Showing up at the last minute.
Can't choose my chair. Is there food upstairs still?
Yes,
I really.
it's very good.
I literally left my house at 2:25.
You could have just walked here and it would have been faster.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was genuinely so terrible. The one-way system that they have going on now because of the I-81
Yeah.
stuff is genuinely so silly, so dumb. It's so stupid. I'm getting really. Oh, I was getting mad.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand why it was taking so long.
It's okay.
Sorry. I feel that makes me feel like an adult complaining about traffic.
Yeah.
Traffic patterns. Yeah, but no, it's good. I think I'm gonna change my car too. I'm gonna sell my car at
Really?
some point. If anyone's interested, let me know.
All right. Give them the rundown. Give them the
Yeah,
specs.
it's 2021 Subaru Crosstrek,
Oh,
premium
nice.
wheels,
Okay.
the nice wheels.
Mhm.
You know, we got 68,000 miles. It's got, I think, I don't know how, I'm not, it's about, I think it's worth about 20,000. So
All right.
thereabouts. Great car, loved it. Never let me down. So
Well, and it was driven by Nicholas Whaley.
yeah, that's when
right.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, tires. I might need some new tires.
Oh, it's okay. They don't need to know that.
See, I'm a good seller.
Yes.
I'm a good seller.
Transparency. Yes.
But everyone should go onto my eBay store as well and buy some of my cards because I need to sell those.
Oh, they already having you sell cards?
No, well, no, this is me.
This is you.
This
Okay.
is my hobby.
Okay.
Did something sell already? No. Yeah, I got a Jade and Ivy card right before all that stuff happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've had it listed for so long. It's like I had to drop it down to a cent.
I'll pay a cent for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
You want to make a deal?
A cent?
Yep.
$1.
$1.
$1 for Jade and Ivy.
Well, you just told me a cent.
Well, that's the auction. It's starting at a cent.
I bid.
You bid. Okay.
I bid a cent.
You bid a cent. All right. You
Yes.
got to pay me $1.32 in postage.
No, I'll pick it up.
That's how it works.
I don't like because you said it was a cent, and now you're moving me up. You're trying to.
It's my product.
All right. You know, I support my friends. I'll give you 50 cents.
And 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
All right, welcome back to Newhouse Afternoon. Riley Underwood and Nicholas Whaley here with you. If you're not tuned into our Twitch chat at twitch.tv/QSportsTalk, you got to because we're wheeling and dealing. Nick's trying to sell his car, and I just bought a basketball card for 50 cents from
You just
Nick
got
Whaley.
a very great deal on a Jaden Ivey rookie card.
Well, I feel like I overpaid because the bidding started at 1 cent on your eBay. So
yes, but
I paid 50 times. You know how good of a friend I am? I paid 50 times as much as that is worth.
yeah, but I didn't make you pay postage. So
Well, I'm picking it up.
okay,
All right.
done. Yeah,
Fine. Done deal.
See, done deal. 50 cents.
what
I'm
we
50
doing.
cents richer today. This is good.
Yes, you are.
This is
Yes, you
good.
are.
It can pay off the parking ticket I had to pay this morning.
Oh,
So
no. What happened?
I went into Bird Library to. I went to the post office because I had some other cards that I just sold. So
Right.
I was like, all right, guys, here you go. And they were like, oh, sorry, we can't print your things here. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I drove to Bird. There were no spots at Bird, so I parked in the disabled space.
Oh, and
I was in there for no more than 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I have proof it took me 7 minutes to print everything. I have a timestamp like in the Syracuse University printing software
Right.
that shows at 2:03 and then 2:10.
so you're going to bring that out and say, I was only blocking the disabled spot
There was
for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
The disabled people can wait for 10 minutes for Nick Whaley to print his stuff.
Does that? But do you think that warrants $130?
I don't know.
$130.
Let the judge be the decider of that.
I'm literally starting to write it.
All right. What's it start? What's the opening line?
Opening line is, Your Honor, I'm writing.
Your Honor. Go, continue.
No. I'm writing to appeal the $130 parking citation I recently received for parking in the handicapped designated space.
I sincerely acknowledge that this was wrong, and I deeply regret occupying a space reserved for individuals with disabilities. Even briefly.
All right, that's enough reading.
All right. Well,
There might have been some AI involved in that.
oh no. Let's
but
cut
it's
that
just-
from the tape, please.
No, I needed to just get started. You know?
Oh man. Okay.
Trust.
All right.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna get at least reduced. I like $130 is egregious.
That's a bit steep.
For 10 minutes. I was just trying to print my cards. Print some labels for my cards, man. Oh, unbelievable. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's talk about.
Can we talk lacrosse?
Let's talk lacrosse.
Please?
Let's talk some lacrosse.
thank
All right.
you.
Let's get off the subject. I'll get off your back for this.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
PLL Lacrosse League draft was last night, and it was full of Syracuse draftees. Joey Spallina with the number 3 pick, and of course, this is the premier league for professional lacrosse for
Yes,
players to go afterwards.
The Professional Lacrosse League.
He was picked 3rd. So, any surprises on that? Higher or lower for Spallina?
I think there were a lot of people that thought he was going to go number 1, but I don't think it matters too much. I find it really interesting. I get why they have to have the draft like a month before, or even over a month before the lacrosse season ends, because the PLL season starts in the middle of summer.
Right.
So they gotta get moving. No breaks for the college guys. But I think it was good. I was surprised Michael Leo went so high.
Okay.
I thought he'd be late first, maybe early second round pick.
Yeah, he's a 6th overall pick.
Sixth overall pick. I mean, that's fantastic. Going to California, really, really nice. I think that's great for Michael Leo. He's just been an animal on offense this year. Second most points on the team. 24. He's got 24 goals, and he actually has 18 assists, which for Leo, that's certainly a tick up in sort of the creative and the dishing side of the game. And I think that was certainly I was very surprised he went so high. Billy Dwan went in the second round. It's the 11th pick, and Luke Rowe was the 16th pick in the second round. And then Dante Bosen, who he went
Number 30.
Yeah, he went 30th in the 4th round. Short stick D Mitty. Honestly, that was a little bit of a surprise as well that he got drafted. Grad student from Ohio State. But yeah, Syracuse men's lacrosse, they've been rolling as of late. Good win against UVA this past weekend, but we're getting right into the thick of it. Got Colgate next up for the final home game of the season, and then on the road to Notre Dame. So that will be the huge game. Syracuse already locked in for the ACC tournament,
right?
But obviously seeding for the NCAA tournament is absolutely vital. This is a Syracuse team that has. This is it for them. This is that incredible 2022 class, which Joey Spallina obviously headlined. This is it's do or die time, and I think the way that Syracuse lost to North Carolina a couple weeks ago definitely set off the alarm bells for me, because I'm concerned that this lacrosse team once again is going to fail to have enough team. I guess I don't want to say have a good enough game plan to win, because I think this team relies too much on individual moments and individual talents. Because I think Syracuse men's lacrosse has probably the 3 best attacking talents in all of college lacrosse. You got Joey Spallina, you got Finn Thompson, and then Michael Leo. You got Peyton Anderson on top of that as well. Who's definitely really taken leaps and bounds this year once again. But man, the fact that they were so off the pace against North Carolina, especially after the first quarter, it just definitely set the alarm bells off for me. I'm like, wow, how is this Syracuse team going to beat that UNC team? I think Jimmy McCool definitely didn't help in that game, but he bounced back great against Virginia in net, and that will be a huge factor as well. Are we going to have a premier Jimmy McCool game against Notre Dame, or are we going to have another lackluster performance where he gets yanked in the third quarter? Because that happened against UNC. It'll be a huge yardstick to measure where the Syracuse team really is, because Notre Dame, they started a little bit slow, didn't really pick up the wins that they needed early on in the season, but then just had a big win against Duke, and go up against Syracuse in the last game of the season.
Syracuse ranked number 5 right now in the country for men's lacrosse. They go up against Colgate on Saturday for Senior Day at 5 p.m., then close out the regular season on the road at Notre Dame. But you talked about that win on Saturday over the weekend against a good Virginia team, which we were talking about last week. We're unsure how Syracuse would respond after that loss to then number 2 North Carolina. And I got to ask you, Nick, is this a team that we could see go in late? We see already them locked into the ACC tournament and likely a postseason team. A number 5 team in the country, 10-3 overall, 2-1 in conference play. You don't get a lot of conference games in the ACC in men's lacrosse. Is this a team you see going late into the tournament, into May?
You would hope so. I think the standard is set from last year, getting to the Final Four. Getting to Memorial Day weekend is so important in Charlottesville this year. That will be such a determining factor for whether or not this lacrosse team really was all it is. And I think Gary Gay definitely will hold a big responsibility about where this team will end up at the end of May. And they absolutely should win. They should get to at least the semifinals. They should at least get to the semifinals of the ACC tournament. At least get to the final, of the ACC tournament, because there's only 4 teams, so you got to be able to do it. It'll be it's going to be such an interesting development over the next few weeks to see where this team really does sit, because I think anything less than the semifinals will be a disappointment for Syracuse.
Syracuse women's lacrosse, number 2 in the nation. They've been really impressing recently.
Right.
On Saturday in that big dome triple header with men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, and the football spring game, it was a 4 overtime victory for Syracuse women's lacrosse over number 19 Notre Dame, 10-9, tied 9-9. Going into the end of regulation, and then it's a sudden victory. They don't call it sudden death in women's lacrosse. They call it sudden victory. For 4 overtimes, it just seemed like that game was never going to end. We were both there. That was a lot of defensive lacrosse, and that's what Syracuse women's lacrosse has really prided themselves on, and it's worked so far. Number 2 team in the country, looking like maybe a national championship favorite right now, but it's the defense that does it.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not just they're not just winning games. They're getting on the right side of results. 2 back-to-back 10-9 wins. They're not scoring a lot as much as I think they would have wanted. But at the same time, they're getting big wins. They're getting over the line. All these ranked wins, especially Northwestern earlier in the season. Number 4 team in the country. The fact that this Syracuse lacrosse team played the number 1 and number 2 teams week 1 and week 2, first 2 weeks of the Reggie Thorpe era, that was so harsh, very, very tricky. They played Maryland on the opening weekend, I should say, as well. So 3 top teams to go up against, but after losing those 3, they've won 12 straight. Right. And I think it just took a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of adjustment from Coach Thorpe going, okay, we need to let's sort out the defense first. Let's make sure that we're nice and compact. Guyette in goal has been fantastic, and I think now we're looking towards the end of the season. That Boston College game at the end of the year, once again, it will be very interesting to see how that plays out. It's on the road this year, but the demons from losing to Boston College late in the year, every year for women's lacrosse, hopefully it will come to an end. It's crazy. The women's lacrosse season ends so soon.
Right. Well, the last game of the season is tomorrow.
Yeah,
right,
it's crazy.
Right.
I didn't realize. I thought it was on Saturday. That's my apologies. But that's crazy. It's happening so fast. But Syracuse is the hottest team in the country. They have every reason to think that they can beat the number 13 Boston College team and be the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament. So it'll be great. It'll be really great to see. I think the big issue is that North Carolina is still the team to beat. They have been absolutely incredible all year long. Obviously beat Syracuse earlier in the season, and they've looked absolutely unstoppable. They've only lost once all season. Just beat number 12 Stanford 18-9 on the road, no less. They play Duke on the final day tomorrow, and Syracuse would need UNC to lose for to be the number 1 seed, but that doesn't seem like it'll happen really, just because that's the nature of it. The Tar Heels are just very good at lacrosse, especially this year in both men's and women's. So I think it'll be really, if those are the 2 teams that go head to head in the ACC championship, it'll be great to see where those 2 really sit, because I think earlier in the season it didn't really give Syracuse sorry everybody.
Yes, he's hitting his mic. He's getting excited. I'm
sorry. I'm getting excited. I'm moving my hands. I think it'll be very telling to see how far Syracuse have come in the season, depending on that game against an inevitable game against UNC. So I think the defense keeps it up and they can keep putting the ball in the back of the net, getting these late crazy wins. Why not?
That would be a big time old school lacrosse clash. Last game of the season in the regular season for Syracuse women's lacrosse tomorrow. First draw is at 5:30. That's on the road at number 13 Boston College. So they're done at the Dome this season, and then one more at the Dome for Syracuse men's lacrosse. That's this Saturday at 5 p.m. versus Colgate before they close out their regular season on the road at Notre Dame. Well, we'll step aside for a moment on Newhouse Afternoon. Stick with us here on ESPN Syracuse.
This is Orange.
Thank you. All right. What do we want to talk about?
That's a good question.
Football? You want to talk football?
Could talk a little football.
Syracuse football or?
Huh?
When's the draft?
Oh, could talk a little draft. When is the draft?
Next week.
Jeez.
Sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. Oh, is that mine?
I'm muting you. I can mute him anytime.
Yeah. Jeez. I'm amazed it took you so long to do that.
No, yeah. I'm gonna start doing that during the actual show. Whenever you make a point I don't like, just
you bastard.
Just mute him.
Unbelievable.
So round 1 on April 23rd. Okay, so we can talk about that a lot next week.
Yeah, next week will be draft
That's on
week.
Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, what do we want to do? Oh, no way. No way.
To my stats, which are the ones that really matter. Good chances. Oh, wait a minute.
Wow, 35 seconds in. Artigula.
Lead, and Artigula has said
Oh, are they going home?
very much.
I don't know.
40 seconds gone. You were wondering if we were going to get a plot twist tonight. And Manuel Neuer has wrapped it up with ribbon.
Wow, that's crazy. Luke, what? This is crazy.
So
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, this is also nuts. Apparently the yeah. Wow. Oh, no way. Wow. So what are we talking
We
about?
can talk about football, Syracuse football.
Syracuse football? Cool. Still can't believe Kent. Man, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty nuts. I think we should. Who's going to be the lead skill player? How good the defense can be, and is the offensive line good enough? I'm kind of just going to go off of this.
Yeah.
I think. Good afternoon, Bill. How we doing?
Afternoon. 20 seconds, all right.
Favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome back into Newhouse Afternoon on a beautiful day here in Syracuse, New York. I mean, we couldn't have asked for any better weather, Nick. I mean, step outside and you're just hit with the rays and kind of forget about all that frost we got for the last 6 months, it seems like.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was so ready for it. I'm so ready to just. I was sitting on my porch today, and it was just so nice. I was sitting there. I was doing some work. It was great. It was so fun.
All right. Well, Syracuse football has some work to do, certainly, since last season's 3-win campaign. We saw a little bit of them in action on Saturday at the spring game. It ended with a very low-scoring game, 9-7.
Yes.
We saw some things. We didn't see some things. We did not see Steve Angeli play. We saw Malachi Nelson and Mari Odom kind of be the two backup quarterbacks that people were looking at mostly. Malachi Nelson really didn't do anything. He finished the game with 3 passing yards, going 1 for 4.
Yeah.
Amari Odom had some big passes, but I think that quarterback competition for the number 2 and 3 spots will continue into the rest of the spring and into the summer. I think that's
Yeah,
not done
absolutely.
quite yet. not a lot of offense in this game, Nick. Is that concerning? I know you could look at it both ways, but I mean, that was one thing that Syracuse really didn't do last year well when Steve Angeli got injured with his Achilles, is that there was no offense, and there was no offense in this spring game.
No, and there was. I think that's one of the biggest concerns. I think the defense actually looks pretty solid, but the issue definitely is that, you know, Steve Angeli's still hurt, and I think as soon as he comes back, he easily becomes a top 5 quarterback in the ACC, no question. Maybe even top 3, with the way things are looking right now. But at the same, you know, not having him on display, not seeing what he can do, even if he has a fully repaired, you know, Achilles, like, I still think that he's going to show us a world of good. The other thing as well, wondering who the skill players will be. You know, we got Mari Hatcher as the senior coming in, probably will be leading the charge. You know, Elijah Moore as well had the longest play of the day. You know, see maybe he can be the go-to receiver. You know, there's a lot of questions, a lot of new blood, fresh faces, really, to see what sort of happens in that regard, who the options for Angeli will be, who the breakouts will be, because we saw that last year. You know, as much as Cook was maybe the headlining wide receiver, you know, there were other options that really helped things for Syracuse that we didn't really talk about earlier in the season. So you know, I think we'll see a little bit more. We'll see the athletic ability. You know, see. Of course, Calvin Russell getting hurt is so unfortunate. You know, it would have been great to see him show his stuff, especially in the spring game, you know, because he obviously would have had a big impact. But obviously, we might not see him until the middle of the year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But, you know, I don't want to jump to conclusions just yet on the offense.
All right. And we were talking about returners, actually, for basketball team. We didn't even mention Calvin Russell. I mean, we forget that he's a part of that squad if he's well and available. Another player that kind of shined in that spring game, Davian Kerr, who had a solid year in the secondary last year. He snagged a pick. And Trip Woody hit the game-winning field goal to make it a 9-7 game, high-scoring spring game in the Dome.
To be fair, it was, 6 minutes of the first half and then the second half.
It was a quick game.
It wasn't even right. It was barely half a game. So, you know, I'll give him a little bit of slack. That, you know, even though it was very low scoring, not much really happened. You know, it was a long day for everybody. So, yeah, it was so late. But, you know, I think if the defense really is that good, you know, I think especially the secondary, like you mentioned, is looking really good. I think Kerr looks really good. A lot of good athletic ability in there as well. You know, Chris Adapolina, I believe is how you say his name. He's another one that's really good in coverage. I think the biggest question mark will, of course, be linebackers and offensive linemen more than anything.
For Fran Brown on the recruiting trail, of course, quarterback will be a big position to fill going forward into the future with Steve Angeli and that whole situation going on. So he did have some good news, and he had some bad news. Good news was he got a commitment from 3-star quarterback Charlie Folk, but 2 days after that, another quarterback commit that was previously committed to the program, Justin Dixon out of Maryland, he decommitted. Those are both class of 2027 guys. So that's what happens when you see someone else being recruited at your position, and 2 days after they get Folk, well, Dixon backs out.
And this is where the mentality of, I want guys to compete can sometimes backfire on you, especially in this new era where guys can really kind of do what they want. Even though you commit somewhere doesn't mean that you're actually committed a lot of the time, which definitely makes things very interesting. But it definitely meant that,
right,
you know,
these are just verbal commits.
Exactly.
They haven't signed the actual letter
exactly yet. You know, and that makes everything a little bit hazy and maybe a bit confusing, because I think Fran Brown definitely wants to have guys who can compete for spots, because I think that's the philosophy. That's why there's 5 quarterbacks with experience on the roster. Right. So I think that's what makes it very important in that regard to have competition. And there's guys who buy into that, and there's guys that don't buy into that. There's guys who think they should be starting no matter what. So that's obviously the fine line for Coach Fran.
All right, well, that's enough football for today. We've just got a couple minutes left on Newhouse Afternoon. Let's take a very quick break, and then we'll be back for our famous hot takes here at Newhouse.
Be sure to tune into Mike Bristol's FW Web in.
Ooh, the Wall Street Journal is now reporting that Live Golf is facing the threat of imminent closure as the public investment fund on the verge of pulling its funding, according to a source familiar with the matter. It's kind of crazy. So all those players that have those $400 million contracts are just going to be screwed. Well, Arctic Cooler, you beast. I should have bought him. Damn.
I need to think about my hot take. I don't know. I don't know if I have a hot take. You have any ideas for me?
I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to be Syracuse related.
It's true.
Could be anything.
What is going on in the sports world in general?
It's a good question.
Nothing.
Oh my gosh, it's 3-2? I gotta put this game on the TV or put it on my laptop or something. It's 3-2 Real Madrid. Oh my word. Arda Güler has 2 goals. This is ridiculous. There's no way that's a TV show. There's a TV show called Divorced Stars.
Really?
Like a reality TV show. That's crazy. Copyright. Could be, I don't know, NBA related. Playoffs
Could be.
just started. Yeah, did you see the Charlotte game yesterday? That was kind of crazy.
I did not, no.
Well, they tied the game with 0.4 to go, and then they won it in overtime.
No.
First time, well, they're still in the play-in, which is so, I had no idea the play-in was even happening.
Yeah.
It's
kind of stupid.
It's so silly. It's just another regular season game. They don't need it. Just do the top 8 teams. There's enough people in the playoffs as it is. So silly. To me. I did just get this Neymar. Kind of cool, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me see the card I bought.
The one you bought.
Yeah, let me see the picture.
Yeah.
I didn't even see a picture of it.
It's actually not a bad card. It's blue.
Oh, it's a rookie too? Oh man, let's do it.
See, if he has a career resurgence,
Sure.
he'll be all right. Sapphire rookie. Panini Select.
All right.
Junior Ivy. Maybe if he can get his career back on track.
Yeah, and then I can make a lot of profit.
Damn, this guy lowballing me though. $7 for that? No, bro.
No, man. No.
Come on.
Don't come in there low balling.
Come on. How many ads are they gonna give me though? Jeez. Copy. Do you know what you're gonna do?
Yeah. Ends the cross.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Let's give him a good. Should we give him a good old wave?
Sure.
100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
All right, welcome back to Newhouse Afternoon. Riley Underwood and Nicholas Whaley still here with you on this sunny day in Syracuse. And it's time for the end of our show, which means we're bringing out the hot take segment. So
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going men's lacrosse. All right, it seems like that's what people are excited about here in Onondaga County about the men's lacrosse team. So
Yeah.
I'm going with, after this big time win against Virginia and after a heartbreaker against number 2 North Carolina, who a lot of people think is the best team in the ACC and maybe the country, I'm going Syracuse. Hot take. Syracuse, the Orange, will win out in the regular season. Oh, by the way, they're going to win the ACC tournament, too.
Oh,
They're going
spicy.
all the way into the NCAA championships red hot. Now, that's as far as my hot take goes, because I don't want to push my luck too much.
Okay.
But I'm
Fine.
going with Syracuse takes home the ACC championship in Charlotte. May 3rd will be a day of great celebration in Syracuse.
Wow.
What do you think?
Ooh, I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that they're not going to get out of the semifinals.
Oh, no. Not out of the first round.
The ACC tournament. Yeah, first round.
Well, of 2 rounds.
Of
right.
2 rounds. So, that doesn't really mean too much, but I think if Syracuse beat Notre Dame, I think they'll be all right. Because they'd probably play Notre Dame if they beat Notre Dame, they're probably playing Notre Dame in that first round, or they play UVA or Duke. I don't know. One of them. They're all like very close.
Right.
But will be very interesting. Will be very, very interesting.
All right, well, their final home game of the regular season is on Saturday at 5 against Colgate, and close out the regular season on the road the following Saturday against Notre Dame. So it's the end of our show. For Riley Underwood, for Nicholas Whaley, get out there, enjoy that nice weather here in Syracuse. Thanks for joining us.
Did you miss Drive Time with